Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 488 at scavengerlife.com.
Welcome. This is going to be a little bit of a time capsule for the future. It is late 2020, ETA, 11:22 on a Sunday.
Yes.
AM. It's just, we will not talk about politics, but it is, this is a good example of how I think things affect sales,
Right.
We're like in this long slog of 2020 with all these things happening. We
Uncertainty.
Uncertain transfer of power with our president. We have COVID-19, a virus
That is not going away.
a killer virus that's now raging through the middle of the country.
Yeah.
Those of us on the East Coast are dealing with this back in the late spring. So I feel bad for everyone in the middle of the country. And I'm just like, remember when life was boring? Like, it was like a year ago.
We never thought, we were just like, everything's stressful. Everybody. Now you're like, wow, things were so amazing before.
Yeah. So we'll see, and that definitely we have seen affect our sales. But we'll see how things go. Okay, let's talk about eBay. Tell me if you've experienced this.
Okay.
Free shipping bug.
I haven't.
Explain what this is, or would you like me to?
I think you need to, because I kind of glossed over it.
So, people were saying on the forum, other sellers, that things will sell on eBay with free shipping. And then they'll go and look, and it's really to somebody in Hawaii.
Or Alaska.
And someone looked at their shipping tables. I don't know what that is.
I don't know where the shipping tables are.
And they saw that eBay had accidentally, or some bug, had flipped on free shipping for buyers in certain places of the country. So
the most expensive places for most people, Hawaii.
Right. And then unfortunately, I guess what you do is you have to cancel the sale and get them to buy again and tell them you got to pay for a shipping,
which is the worst.
Right. And because oftentimes a buyer won't want to repurchase it.
Yeah, or they never contact you, or they don't say anything.
Or some people were saying they just sent it, called eBay, and eBay said they would reimburse them, but maybe that
who knows if that'll happen.
Just weird.
I haven't seen that. I don't know where shipping tables are to even look at that.
Yeah.
I'd have to look that up. Did anyone on the forum say where that existed?
Nope.
Okay.
Since I don't do shipping, I don't really know kind of where all that stuff is.
I don't either.
Yeah.
So...
But right now, just so I'm clear, so we use, because of the advice we were given.
Business policies. And we have, 5 business policies? 20 business policies? Not 20. I mean, I have a handful. I maybe have 10. Because there's weird, there are weird ones. Like, if I find nail polish, we have, nail polish. From several years ago, we bought hundreds and hundreds of bottles. Well, I can't sell that internationally. So that has its own shipping policy. Only, this is the nail polish. It can't go GSP. It can't go first class international. So that's its own. So I have little things like that. Oh, this can only be this. This I want $10 handling because it's a big, delicate, huge item, So all in all, I would say I have about maybe 10 policies.
So that's interesting. So we do have handling on some items, where it's the cost of the item, cost to ship, plus a handling fee.
Yes. For certain things that are big, bulky, super, huge pieces of artwork where I'm I need extra because I might have to buy a box for that.
Right, buy box, buy peanuts,
buy bubble,
it's
extra.
Time. Yeah.
It's time also.
Right.
That, that might take me 45 minutes to pack. I mean, that's a long time for one item.
I mean, if I think about how we've evolved when we started to try and buy and ship bigger pieces, pieces of art, we experimented with what if we took this to a USPS store?
You mean a UPS store?
A UPS store, and have them ship it.
So expensive.
And I remember we took a couple pieces as an experiment. We hadn't sold it yet, but we took it, and they shipped it real nice, in a box. And peanuts is great, but it was $120.
Yeah, it's really expensive. It's you're handling fee of $120 plus how much it costs to ship it. Now, things like that. I probably only have 10 items that have that specific thing. Right. A couple really large pieces of artwork that have glass, things like that. But overall, a majority of my stuff is under like 2 or 3 different business policies.
Right.
Now everyone's like asleep right now.
Why? Why
only the hardcore like eBay nerds are like, shipping business policies with parcel posts or whatever. Parcel select.
Well, that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
You have any other problems on eBay this?
I did notice that a couple weeks ago there was an issue where people would input information into maybe this is the shipping table, I don't know, into the shipping label page where you're like, this is how much it weighs, like double checking that stuff. And it would revert to like it would revert to priority mail. Even if they paid for first class or parcel, it would basically go to the most expensive thing. And people would have to change that, even though what it's supposed to do is go to what they paid for. Oh, they paid for parcel. It should say buyer paid for this service, but you can upgrade it to priority if you want. I haven't seen any of that bug lately, so it looks like that got fixed from my end.
Right, squash, as we say in the industry.
Squash that bug. So I don't know if anyone's still having that weirdness where it will just revert to like some other thing that the customer didn't pay for. I often do bring it up to priority because it'll be the same price. Sometimes it's cheaper and it's faster.
There was another bug. This is becoming the shipping podcast, but
yeah,
people were complaining about the post office raised their rates.
Yes,
just for the holidays, supposedly. And they were saying that eBay was not actually adding that.
I was seeing that as well a couple of weeks ago.
So we would just eat that cost. So the buyer would pay $5 and it was actually $7 to ship.
No. See, what I was seeing was the opposite. So I forget what the buyer would pay, but I know because we ship Broad Porch coffee through Shippo.
Shippo.
So Shippo, like the padded flat rate was $8.15 on Shippo. So when I was going into eBay to do padded flat rate for my own business, I noticed it was still the old price. So it was almost like eBay hadn't brought the USPS new rates in.
Right. And that's what people were complaining about. So,
but I didn't notice the buyers paying any less. Like it was even with what the buyers were paying.
Right. Oh, so...
You know what I'm saying?
So the post office new fees might be $10, but eBay, you were still allowed to print a label for $8?
Yeah.
Oh, so the post
on eBay,
office...
only on eBay.
Okay, so the post office was still accepting a cheaper rate through eBay.
That's what it seemed like. Okay. I don't know if that's true now, but that was weird. Right. Because on Shippo, I was like, why am I paying a different rate online than on eBay?
And just so people know, that's another, like a third-party shipping app.
It's like Pirate Ship.
Pirate Ship.
Although Shippo... So Pirate Ship, I found out, is just for the post office, which is fine if that's all you're using.
Yeah.
But Shippo has FedEx and UPS if you need to do big, bulky things, which we do sometimes for a Broad Porch.
Right, and that just happened to be our coffee partner. He happened to start using
I like Shippo. And, it's very convenient, actually, because you can... I think a lot of these third-party shipping label places do allow you to bring in... This is the advantage. So for Broad Porch, we have a Squarespace store. It's kind of like Shopify. And we have an eBay store, so we can bring those in together and just see all of them. So if you have Etsy, eBay, Shopify, like you just bring all your orders in. You don't have to go to each page.
And if I'm understanding correctly, when everyone's like, you got to use Pirate Ship.
Right.
It seems like it's mainly good for eBay if you're selling larger boxes.
Yeah, the cubic shipping rate.
They've got some special cubic shipping rate like eBay doesn't have. And on with our coffee business, we don't do large packages really.
Well, so I compared it. I opened a Pirate Ship account, and obviously we have a Shippo account. So I compared it with the same thing, and I saw the same discounts on Shippo. So I don't know if it's just across the board with third party.
Right.
I don't know.
Good.
It seems okay to me. Shippo seems okay.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so our specific store, our eBay sales, We sold 38 items. We sold the exact amount of items this week as a week ago.
So 38 items both weeks. What? That's so
What does
weird.
That mean?
Nothing.
What does that mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Our gross sales, not including shipping, $1,432.49.
Great.
Yeah. However, a couple items that haven't been paid for yet, so I don't know if
aka 4. Is it 4 items? Oh, someone did pay for something this morning.
Paid, yeah.
3. I think it's 3. And a couple of them are over $100. Bummer. And they're not contacting me.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second. Don't
jump ahead.
Let's stay on topic here. Big thing was we didn't really sell a lot of like big dollar items, so $80 was our highest price.
An empty box.
Yeah, it was an empty Gucci box.
It's literally an empty box.
Gucci.
Look, Gucci. That Gucci box was, I will take credit for that because I bought that from an estate sale for nothing.
You can have the credit.
And I'm like, someone will want this on a shelf, like decor, like a vintage, like 1980s.
It was like 80s.
Yeah, I would say 80s. Well, I looked up the store. It's on Bond Street in London. And I think there's like another designer there now, like Marc Jacobs or something. But it was a Gucci store, so.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a beat up box. I mean, it's kind of, it'd been. I
think it was a shoe box.
It'd been through the ringer.
It wasn't that bad. It looked cool.
Yeah.
So it's just funny that you can sell an empty box.
Yeah.
On eBay.
Yeah, I mean, for a while it's wouldn't.
Decor.
eBay had a policy where you couldn't sell
empty boxes.
Empty boxes, because I guess I don't know if they were having problems with people would sell like an empty Apple iPhone box, and people would I guess complain, be like, "Oh, I thought it was gonna be
an iPhone."
But I think when eBay just embraced it, and then I guess you put it in a category. Is it on a box category? Like, how? I
don't actually know. I do have several Apple boxes for sale. Empty. And I don't know if there's a category for empty box. There might be.
Yeah.
But I am so clear. I mean, literally although it probably doesn't matter, but it says in capital letters, the first thing in my title, empty box.
I remember it was a while ago. I feel like this was like in the early teens, 2000 teens. I don't know what you call it. Yeah. 2010. Seen some like commercial on TV for one of those like Maury Povich shows or whatever. Those like
really?
Jesse Raphael's where it was like that it's all about outrage, right? It's like this couple is scamming people on eBay. They're selling a picture of a cell phone.
All right.
And when people think they're going to get a cell phone, and the guy's like, I said it was a picture of a phone that you're buying for $100.
And also,
I'm not lying to you,
And you're like, why would anybody buy a picture of a phone?
So I guess eBay was trying to sell that. Anyway, now you can sell an empty box, and we just sold one, $80.
Look,
in my pocket.
There's an entire subreddit about Apple boxes. I am not joking.
Really?
People collect Apple boxes.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Look it up.
Wow.
So I wish I could like advertise to those people.
Is that because like people like
they like the design? They like the design, and also they just want like a wall of like because the design of the boxes is actually really beautiful.
Right. I mean, Apple really started that whole like unboxing thing where like you get a box and it's like really beautiful.
Yeah, it's got this beautiful design on the front. So people will have like a row of like the original iPhone box till now. It's collectors.
Yeah.
Why the F would anybody collect an empty box? People do it. I mean, there's reasons for it. It's like museums.
We don't hate Ryan. Another thing we sold was a tea towel.
Yes.
And this is interesting. So we were about 2 years too early on tea towels. And for anyone that doesn't know,
4 years too early.
A tea towel is this thing where
it's just like a kitchen hand towel.
It was like from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and it's like it's like
a kitchen linen.
It's a rag,
towel.
but then people started to like print on it, and it would often have like the calendar year on it, and it would have a design, and you can find them, or we were finding them at thrift stores really cheap. And for a while, no one wanted to buy them. And I don't know how...
And I got a bunch of them.
And real quick, I don't know how hot this category is, but we just sold them for $20. But we went to your a sister. She now works at like like a home goods design store.
Yeah, but like a small boutique,
like a, with like cool, like it's an Etsy store, but like in real life.
Person.
And we went in there.
Yeah, and they have all these tea towels.
And they have all these tea
printed
towels.
with like vintage stuff on it. I'm like,
it looks good. Yeah.
Well, look, So when you say we were a few years too early, so I remember I went to a yard sale down the street. It was down there. You remember this yard sale. And this woman had all these tea towels, probably like 30 years worth. And I just went through every single one and picked any design that I thought was cool. A lot of them had calendars. Some of them just had like cool like nature scenes and were like Irish linen. And they're slow sellers, but I've sold a few of them lately. And my mom texted me yesterday and was like, I've been selling tea towels too. I don't know if it's like, I always wonder when things sell in bunches like this, in waves, if someone on some online, magazine or something was like, check out tea towels. And then it just starts.
I mean, we talk about it about like, I'm always interested in the neck. I mean, like part of this eBay adventure has been understanding there are trends. I mean, that's not...
Yeah, of course.
Wow,
revelation.
Yeah, I mean, but to me, like it affects our business.
Right.
So, and we've been around long enough where we've kind of seen these trends in fashion. And, we're like really on the outskirts, but trying to find those things, so mid-century modern was... Like we kind of have seen how that's exploded over the past
big.
5 years.
Yeah,
I think it's right at the end. I think it's waning out now that you can go to Target
and get like mid-century modern
and basically buy really good. I mean, it looks good.
Yeah,
mid-century modern reproduction. I just feel like at that point, it's just like it's kind of.
I don't know. Yeah. I think it's classic.
So we'll see.
So the funny thing about this tea towel, though, is it was a Freemason tea towel. Like, it had this Freemasons, like the Eastern Star Freemason, whatever, in 1971 calendar. And it sold to a pretty famous actor in Hollywood.
Yeah. In Hollywood, California.
I'm not going to say who because I want to protect their privacy, but it's just funny when that happens where you're like, oh my God, crazy. That's weird.
Right. You got your finger on the pulse of fashion.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, and then the other thing we sold was, and this is you, a Christmas ornament.
Yes.
For $40.
Yes, we sold a Christmas ornament of Henry VIII. So random. This felt Henry VIII. I don't know who is making Christmas ornaments of Henry VIII. I don't know. But there was a completed... So here's the crazy thing. There was a completed one from like sometime this year that sold for almost $50.
Does it have like a...
They had a name on it, like made by this company in London. But there was no tag on it, but I just put that in my title anyway. And mine sold within a couple days for, I think it was an offer of $40.
40 doll hairs.
$40. And I'm just like, great. Don't. Jay always makes fun of how I say dollars. Dollars.
I
you have a weird regional accent too sometimes.
Look, I love accents.
I
love
annoying.
Accents. I love your accent.
Okay, moving on.
Okay. How would you say if we were in Massachusetts, how would we say like okay, I'll do it.
It's going to involve a swear because this is Boston. Bostonians like to swear a lot.
Buy me a natty light.
Okay, so it's so funny because
give me a natty light, please.
Right?
That's so Massachusetts there, right?
It's so funny because you and also Phil from Broad Porch have this like fake Boston accent, but it sounds like a Kennedy accent. Nobody has that accent. Nobody sounds like a Kennedy.
Nobody sounds like that?
No.
Give me a natty light, please.
It's like JFK. No, nobody sounds like JFK.
I love Massachusetts accents.
Yeah.
Put some quahogs on the barbecue.
Oh, stop it.
Okay. Anyway, so okay. Scavenger of the week. We didn't do any scavenging that I can think of. Nope. Okay. Customer issues. Like we said, we have $239 of unpaid items this week, and this is people who have made us offers on items. We're like, great. We
love this offer.
We would love to do this deal with you. Silence. So I'm not sure. This is a continuing thing. This would be like, if I could have anything for Christmas, eBay would do something about this because, you know, and I would think they would do it not to help me. Don't care about me. Care about yourself. You know, these are, you know, eBay's going to have to give me back my fees because of this. So, and it should be where if you make an offer, you have to have money in your account, and eBay is allowed to like capture that money and hold it until it's
fine.
You know.
So, but the problem with that is people are still going to ask to cancel. People do that all the time anyway. They fully pay for an item.
Fine.
5 minutes later, cancel. It's the same thing.
Fine, but at least like that money is held up. I don't know.
Well, okay, so at least you're able to sell that item faster again. Because right now I've been sitting on these items for all week.
Right.
You know, not being able to... Well, I mean, you could relist them, but if they pay for it, you know.
Yeah, and, you know, I guess just what bothers me is that the only thing we can do is just allow the unpaid item assistant to work and then, like, they supposedly get a black mark, and if you're a seller, you can... stop people from buying from your store if they have two black marks within 6 months.
Yes.
So I don't know. It's just it's just kind of annoying.
Yeah,
and mainly just because I like money.
Well, it's like the promise of the sale is so exciting. You're like, oh, you know, we sold a jacket for $120, and I was like, that's such a great sale. Nope, haven't paid.
Yep,
isn't gonna pay.
Yep. Okay, let's go to the questions or comments that people sent in this week.
Okay, you can email us an audio file. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com. Or you can call our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486.
Oh yeah, our first call was from Kevin. Unfortunately, we couldn't hear it. It's really a muffled call, like Kevin from Boston. So please call back. And maybe speak right into the phone. Yeah,
it just sounds like really quiet. Yeah. So,
and it sucks because I really want to hear it because he's got the great Boston accent.
Hey, how you doing, Scavenger Life? Just wanted to ask a question about managed payments. Been signed up for since it converted. I'm trying to figure out to decide whether this is worth it. I'd like to be able to see in completed payments where the payment came from. I'd like to be able to see, other than PayPal payments, how did these get processed? How many are actually coming in from other than PayPal? I can't seem to find that anywhere. Let me know. That'd be great. That could be helpful to folks. See ya.
Yeah, that's a great question. I would love more information too. eBay does not show that I know of. eBay when I go to the managed payments page, it doesn't really show anything. It doesn't say where they come from. I don't know. I mean, they know that information. I don't know why they wouldn't share it. Maybe they don't think it's overwhelming for people.
So like, what percentage is PayPal? What percentage is credit cards?
Like, why don't we say I had five? I had 5 sales today. I'd love to know where. Yeah. How do they pay? I don't know. Right. I mean, I guess I can imagine there being like a boardroom of eBay people, and they're like, "What information should we show?" And they're just like, "Why do they care? They sold it. It doesn't matter if it came from Apple Pay or whatever.
Money came in.
It's just who cares? It's just more tables and more databases we have to maintain,
Well, so when you run a traditional business like the coffee business, you can see a breakdown of how people paid at the store. Was it credit card? Was it cash? Was it Apple Pay? Was it Google Pay? Like now with all these technology, I was working at the cafe the other day, and a bunch of people paid with Apple Pay. So, which I haven't paid anything with Apple Pay yet. I haven't paid with anything with my Apple Watch.
Right.
This dude who I actually know, he's kind of a nerd. He like puts his watch on the tap thing,
a flex.
And I was just like, that is amazing. Yeah, that's so crazy.
Because the coffee shop we're now a part of, Broad Porch, there in Harrisonburg, and it's a college town,
right. So
it's mainly college kids coming in.
They don't carry cash,
and they're like,
all the old people have cash,
and right.
like me.
Right. I don't have cash.
I have a little bit of cash, but I think what's cute too and what's hilarious is people will be like, do you guys take cash? Like, because there are places who are cash free. They're just like, we don't even bother. Right. Like, it's all.
Yeah, I think I experienced that in New York, where a lot of coffee shops are going cashless.
Yeah.
And I think one reason is because, and I guess it makes sense, you're trying to cut down on theft, employee theft. Because if there's no cash, employees can't steal anything. It's also kind of good because then you don't need to have a drawer. Right. You don't need to reconcile a drawer.
Right.
Like our partners in this coffee shop, we're now we put hours into the shop now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, there's like a cash drawer.
You got to
count
the
like
cash.
Count it in the morning. You have to count it at the end.
See if there's any difference.
Someone has to put it, in and take it to the bank. I mean, I can see both ways. It's like, I personally don't carry cash because I just pay for everything with a card. And it kind of stinks when I do need cash. I have to you
have to see if Ryan's with you.
I got to go to an 18. Yeah, right.
I carry cash mostly for if we're at the thrift store or if we're at a yard sale.
Right.
Like to have
and
sense. just in case.
But on the other hand, the argument about getting rid of a cash economy is that there's a large portion of the population that don't have good bank accounts and
or
credit cards and cards and
the other thing too about a card versus cash is a card will always have a fee. You have to pay merchant fees.
Right.
Sure. So that's why there are some places on the opposite end of the spectrum that only take cash.
Right.
There are places who are just which sucks when you sit down at a restaurant that only takes cash and you're there are places like that in New York.
Or places that add 3% to every purchase because you have to cover. I get it.
Yeah. I actually think it would be interesting to know, is anyone paying with Apple Pay or Google Pay? Is it called Google Pay? I don't know. Google Wallet or whatever.
Right.
Crypto. Do they do Bitcoin? No.
I don't know.
I just got an email from PayPal this week that says they do Bitcoin, which I totally do not understand what that means for PayPal. You can buy Bitcoin from them, deposit Bitcoin.
I saw that email too, probably.
I was like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I feel old. So anyway.
We'll do a brief end of our coffee
wrap up.
Coffee business.
Yeah.
Because people might be interested.
Yeah.
We've had a good week with our new coffee business.
Yes, a great week.
Nice thing is that our online sales are growing, which I think is exciting our partners, because that's really, if you have a coffee shop, it's really kind of a limit to how much you can sell. There's, a certain amount of people. But with the online sales, I think we're teaching them, it's exciting because you can have sales 7 days a week.
To anywhere in the country.
24 hours a day. And we've been getting a lot of Scavengers buying that I think excites them too because, we're reaching out to a new audience. So it's nice.
Yeah.
It's good. We now roast coffee 2 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a time when we're all kind of hanging out together. Everyone has their role.
Yeah.
You're kind of the shipping person.
Yep, I've been shipping.
I'm helping to bag. Phil is roasting.
Jill helps
me bag too.
Jill's been bagging, but Jill's also doing event stuff because we're starting to get event inquiries.
So it's cool, exciting. And we're all kind of hanging out, and that's what's interesting. It's kind of different from selling on eBay, where we're actually making a product. And
it is really fun. It's really cool.
We have the local. Our paper like a newspaper.
You're like, what's it called? It's a newspaper.
The paper is going to come to our shop on a Monday and do an interview and put us in the paper.
To the roastery.
Because it's a big deal for our little tiny small town.
Well, to have a new business. Yeah, it is a big deal. So I did want to remind people, we roast and ship on Mondays and Thursdays. So get your orders in before that. Like we go to the post office basically Monday afternoon. Our post office closes at 4:30. If your order gets in before that, the earlier the better.
We roast to order.
We roast and we pack it and we ship it.
Yeah.
So if you're needing coffee this week, Sunday night, Monday morning, best time to order.
And we do gift cards and subscriptions. So if you're trying to get a gift for somebody, think about us.
We have sample packs.
Go to broadporchcoffee.com.
Okay.
Anyway, this podcast, I don't know. I could read off the whole thing, but we're glad you're here. We're glad we could be with you.
You can subscribe. You can find us on YouTube and iTunes. I mean, you found us already.
Right.
Scavengerlife.com. Okay, this podcast is ending in 3, 2, 1. Bye.
Bye.